Greetings, viewers, and welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here with you, calling the shots for you as always. And as you can see, we are hanging out here on Argus Desert Gate, which is one of my personal favorite 3-on-3 maps. And you know what that means. I don't do 3-on-3 games often. I prefer to stick to my 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s, but when I do one, you can expect one frickin' heck of a game. So anyways, this is one of my favorite maps, as I just mentioned. Let's go ahead and take a look at our players, because we've got quite a lineup tonight on the red team. We've got Mr. Iconoclast as the Orky Mech Boy. Then we've got Morrigan, who I believe is actually Codex under another name, as the Eldar Warlock. And then rounding out the red team, we've got Annhilus Rex as the nasty Plague Champion for the Chaos Space Marines. Starting the blue team off, we've got Bizzie, who's actually a very top-notch player, but I haven't seen him on Elite Mod much, so he might be a bit of a neophyte as far as Grey Knights are concerned, as the brother captain, and Caeltos, the titular lead designer of the Elite Mod himself, as the Warp Spider Exarch for the Eldar army, and then Mr. Venom finishing up the blue team as the Lord Commissar for Imperial Guards. So we've actually got 7 races, of course, because of the Grey Knights over here, but we have five different races out of 6 players, so that's pretty exciting. Always good to see some variation in some 3-on-3 games. So of course this map divided up pretty much into 3 lanes. The top one separated by the stairways and that waterway there in the middle, which has the contested VP and power on either side. Then the center VP, or the center, is sort of the VP lane. It's got the 2 VPs and an extra power and wreck, which kind of just change hands. And then we've got the great big resource lane, which will yield all kinds of extra resources, 2 wreck and 3 power for anyone who so chooses to devote all their resources into holding it. So Caeltos looks like he's going to be assisting Bizzie over here. We're seeing our first little scuffle over here. The Plague Champion and Warlock exchanging fire. Plague Champion's out in the middle of nothing while the Warp Spire's in green cover, but of course he's getting healed by his Nurgle worship back there by the heretics, so he's going to be healing that off relatively quickly here. And Bizzie with 2 Stormtroopers, Caeltos, double Dire Avengers. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary on these builds here so far. Normally you see Grey Knights go for the Strike Squad first, but maybe going for those double Stormtroopers instead to start things off. They get pushed off pretty easy. Those Stormtroopers do nice range damage, but get taken down so very easily. In the meantime, Caeltos kind of split up, so not really able to hold the middle lane. Didn't have his Warp Spider there to support and try to focus down these Banshees before they got in melee. And just as we come up top, Sentinel already upgraded with a Stomp upgrade and knocking over all kinds of orcs. But it looks like all those shooter boys are going to have to fall back. There's a Sentinel and a Guardsman squad still up there, and all these are very low health. Already starting to drop models here pretty quickly against that Sentinel. So a 3rd squad of Inquisitorial Stormtroopers coming up here for Mr. Bizzie. That's an interesting choice. We'll have to see what he decides to do with those. Red team with a pretty solid VP advantage already. Already up by about 100 VPs and about to get a triple cap against Blue. Blue is getting rid of this one, so it's not going to be a triple actually. And some heretics and the Plague Champion taking out that contested power node right there. Stormtroopers, and a bit of indecision. Lose a couple members there, deciding which screen cover they wanted to go to and have to fall back. Gonna regroup, hopefully, and come back out with a little more force than that. Warlock's actually stalling back here on the top lane. Red team has 2 full gen farms up. Blue team just has the 1 right now. And map's pretty red, all things considered. Warp Spire's going to come down here and help out. Looks like, he's already upgraded with his improved targeter, so he's really going to be focused on dealing out some ranged damage. All the other heroes looking pretty vanilla so far. Mech Boy pushing back up the center lane. Gonna try to take this contested VP back from the Blues. And Caeltos bringing a Shuriken weapons team. We're seeing, looks like we're going to see a lot of suppression up top. We've got Luda's already up here. Morrigan just bought himself a Shuriken weapons team. Mechboy teleports in, but he's not going to be able to stay long against that Commissar. Those Flamers just taken. Oh my goodness, look at those Flamers burn through those Guardsmen. They might, yes, he does actually lose that squad just before the Stomp goes down. And this Sentinel might be in trouble too, actually, if it doesn't turn around and get out of there. It does go down. One extra shot from those Rangers, I think, finished it off. Rangers on the field. Oh my goodness. Shooter Boy's just barely escaping with 20 or so HP on that side of the map. War Spider's trying to do some damage, but with both suppression teams over there, he warped into the first one, so didn't manage to hold that himself. Some VPs starting to tick off with the red team and even things back out, but they got a pretty strong lead there in the beginning. The Raptors already on the field down bottom, but they're kind of outnumbered pretty severely here. All three of these Inquisitorial Stormtroopers have their Sarges on them, so they're going to be a lot more survivable. And instead of a strike squad, Bizzie went straight for an interceptor squad, so triple Stormtroopers to interceptors. Actually haven't seen that yet. We'll have to see how that plays out. Heretics engaging the interceptors. Interceptors will win that fight handily. But in the meantime, the Raptors are chopping up all kinds of Stormtroopers. Brother Captain activates his We Are the Hammer ability and gives a defensive buff to all his squads and a movement speed bonus as well. And it looks like the Heretics go down. In the meantime, Stormtroopers lasting surprisingly long against these Raptors, but we have the supporting forces of Morrigan coming in here, and those Banshees are going to pretty much make mincemeat of any Grey Knight units left here. If those Eldar hadn't come in, though, I'm pretty sure he would have won that. Those Stormtroopers do deceivingly high range damage. I know I've mentioned that a couple times before, but it surprised me with how weak they are and how much range damage they actually put out. Looks like Red Team has a strong hold on the top VP still. And, we actually, look at this, we have an Artillery Spider squad. I don't think we've actually seen this squad on here. We've got a radio guy and two guardsman escorts there, which will call in off-map mortar strikes. They have the ability to call in a basic mortar strike, which does some knockback and and a little bit of damage. And then they have a smoke mortar barrage as well, and they can upgrade to have an additional barrage. There goes the first. That's a smoke barrage, obviously, right there. But later on, they also get an incendiary barrage, and they can upgrade to a heavy mortar to do more damage in Tier 2. So in the meantime, oh man, looks like we've got the heavy gauge Death Spinner dealing some serious damage to the Warlock. I don't think he's going to finish him off, and it might cost Caeltos. It does his Warp Spider. That Plague Champion actually does some really nice damage with that DoT that his Bolter does on retreat. So a lot of people tend to forget you need to retreat a little bit quicker against the Plague Champion because that does do full damage on retreat. Banshees charge in and force off these Interceptors who had just used their teleport, but they're taking all kinds of range damage. They might actually go down here. 30 HP left, and 3 squads of Stormtroopers make short work of it. Just as they do, however, they are turned into little inquisitorial bits right there. Oh man. Guardian Grenade right in the pile of all of them. Lots of bits. Very unfortunate. Bad day for them. Meanwhile, both suppression teams sitting side by side here. They probably, they're choosing to rearrange that. You never want those suppression teams right near each other. You kind of want them covering each other a little bit. As soon as that Luda Boy moves up, smoke goes down, and you can actually see how much that reduces the range. There's the little arc of the firing arc right there. That's all they can see is inside of that smoke cloud. However, this Commissar needs to get past... Oh, I don't know why they didn't go for... There goes the second mortar strike, but by then the Commissar Lord was far too low. Charged in there a bit prematurely. They probably wanted to knock down the rear one and then send the Commissar in under cover of the smoke mortar fire. Mechboy teleports in. He doesn't have the time for another cooldown, I don't think, however. Taking tons of damage. Crackshot, I think, was activated on that Shuriken. Was really eating him up right there. Sluggers get forced off. Everybody's heading into Tier 2. Annihilus Rex getting himself a Dreadnought, and Iconoclast getting himself... Oh, I thought we were going to see a Death Dread, but it looks like instead he's going for some Stikks. And really, that's what we're going to need up top, because it's just been kind of a constant crossfire between 2 suppression teams on either side. Really what he wants to do is just drop a smoke and then take this VP away and then force the Reds to take it from them. Whoever holds that point is just going to hold it for a while with the current compositions up top, so really all you want to do is take that VP and then just force the other team to have to push into all your ranged fire. So Morrigan bought his Banshees back, as we can see. Wasn't really deterred by that early loss. Realized he overextended them a bit. A nice use of Fleet of Foot as that Shuriken was focusing the Banshees. Caeltos is split up a little bit, so he wasn't able to look up and retarget as those Guardians rushed in and dropped a grenade over there. Warlock with this Merciless Witchblade, going to be a real pain in the butt for that Commissar Lord and his shield, and of course he just does so much nasty damage on his own anyways. And Triple Guardsman interceptors, and then a Razorback in Tier 1. That's pretty sweet. Caeltos, man, just look at this Warp Spider. Is geared up to just be anywhere he needs to be and then annihilating heroes. He's got his advanced targeters giving him added damage, his heavy gauge death spinner to knock folks over, and then he's got his enhanced warp jump generator that allows him, of course, to warp faster and further. So really useful in these team games to just kind of warp around and be a nuisance wherever he's needed. Ogren's on the field here to kind of be a front screen for these Wraith Guard, which are going to come out and cause all kinds of trouble for these setup teams and this primarily ranged force up top. All they need to do is get a few good volleys in. However, I think these Ogrens are being a bit overzealous charging into all this. They need to get out of there. The Banshees with their Exarch now and the Warlock charging in to cause some heavy melee damage here. Wraith Guards get off a nice little volley there, but they need to fall back to the safety of their suppression. Both the melee squads get suppressed up here, and they have to fall back. Mechboy teleports back, but he's not actually choosing to melee the suppression team that he's right next to. That might actually be able to take him out at that point. Stick Bomb is launching a couple volleys in, and oh, orc bits everywhere. Two shooter squads get obliterated. Not completely, but taking heavy casualties from those Wraith Guards. Mechboy falls down. He never managed to take out both of those suppression teams. And man, that Mortar Strike may have actually just spread out that Stick Barrage just enough to keep that Shuriken Cannon alive. In the meantime, those Slugger Boys trying to charge in, but without Swampum being a suppression breaker these days in the Elite mod, not going to be able to do that in the face of all that range fire. In the meantime, Rhino's been upgraded with a Las Cannon to deal with the Chaos Dreadnought that's on the field. Autocannon not going to be able to take that out, especially at the range. Unfortunately, he needs to make sure he's targeting that against that heavy Chaos Walker. However, it looks like he might be pushing it a bit too far, getting a bit out of position as he pushes against the Dread. Oh no, the Plague Champion actually upgrading with his Plague Fist. He's going to be needing to be very cautious with this Razorback. It's only going to take a couple more shots to finish off this Dreadnought. Dreadnought takes a couple swings though, and now opening up with its autocannon. It's going to be a close fight. One or two more shots will surely finish that thing off. There goes one. It's down to 3 HP, but it gets punched down. Maybe the Stormtroopers can finish it off. Oh, 3 HP, and it's going to survive. Yeah, the Plague Champion starts repairing it, and oh, very unfortunate. Those Stormtroopers are going to get out of there, I think. But wow, very unfortunate he wasn't able to take that down. That's not a major loss, not compared to what the Walker would have been, but either way, you didn't want to have to lose that Razorback that had just been upgraded with the Las Cannon. Actually, really excellent mobile AV on that. Warlock getting a bit overzealous there almost falling down. 30 HP left. You can see Stikks flying, loot is opening up, and just an Autarch drop in the back, finishing off this heavy weapon squad. Oh, no, it had one extra member actually. She needs to turn and engage that Shuriken now and really allow the red team to open up and take it out. Mortar Strike, there's the Incendiary Strike over there as another volley of Stikks goes down. And just the top is madness over here. You can see the Incendiary Strike doesn't actually knock anything over, unfortunately, so those looters were able to continue opening fire and suppressing things. But it does do some pretty nice AoE damage just over time there on anything that's kind of just sitting around. In the meantime, Bizzie got a nice power bash. After pushing back that Dreadnought so far, he did manage to take out the power farm of the Reds over here. Blue team's got quite a bit of the map, but still down by about 200 VPs. They really need to hold and take the center one, and Red team has been doing a good job of harassing the natural VP over here too, activating Swampum once again to mitigate some of that range damage. But oh man, it looks like Caeltos switched up his build and went for the Entangling Web. Kind of stopped those Slugger Boys in their tracks and forced them to retreat, because they certainly would have died to those Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. And now we have a Grey Knight Dreadnought on the field. You can see Bizzie's kind of feeling out. I guess he hasn't used the Grey Knights too much because he's not sure quite what he should get for AV to deal with that Chaos Dread. And Iconoclast with these double stick bombs causing some serious trouble. Look at all the craters up here already from the kind of raging battle that's been going on for this contested VP. 175 to 413. They finally get a VP and they'll be able to at least neutralize this one up top. Commissar Flare goes down. Banshees and Warlock charging against these Ogrens who are trying to get those stick bombers and Rangers out, but they need to deal with that melee before they get too far behind the lines. One Ogren falls, they'll probably be able to get one or two more. Yeah, there goes the second And now they need to focus down that Commissar before he comes in and gets on these suppression teams. But the red team has successfully routed the blue push once again. Looking in the middle, we can see the Grey Knight Dreadnought way back here, actually. And causing a little headache. We've seen the Chaos Dreadnought upgraded to the Siege upgrade, though, and I'm not actually sure who would win this range fight. Of course, with that Plague Champion closing in, I don't think it's going to be that Chaos... Or, sorry, I don't think it's going to be the Grey Knight Dreadnought. Oh, man, he picks off a Chaos Space Marine. Bitses him right there in one quick shot. A huge volley of Stikks going off. That's definitely both squads. But unfortunately, they missed everything. Caeltos got himself a Falcon right here. Falcon's a bit speedier these days. Oh, the Grey Knight Dreadnought's going to go down. It just barely survives with 28 HP. Brother Captain charging up with the Interceptors once again, but that Chaos Dread is just proving too much for what's currently on the field. Bizzie needs to get these stormtroopers up here, and kind of hanging out with this Falcon would be great. They can constantly reinforce and just pump range fire into the red team's ranks. Rangers trying to find a good spot to attack from. In the meantime, Stick Bomb is going down. Oh, just as the Autarch jumps in, taking a little friendly fire there, but nothing she can't handle. They force off the suppression, and they will be able to secure the VP once again. So anyways, we've got a Bright Lance set up in the middle. Caeltos trying to really help out with dealing with that Chaos Dread. Manticore on the field for Venom. And finally some more Heretics on the field for Annhilus Rex to help out with probably the healing efforts in general. Blue team's just been trying their damnedest to take this center VP, but they really haven't ever been able to hold on to it for more than a few seconds, and we can see that in the VPs, down to 150 to 321. They really need to make a concerted push here and just force the red team back, get the suppression off the field, and oh my gosh, those Wraith Lords just tearing up in combination with those Ogrins. Unfortunately, the Warlock and the Autarch doing a serious number on them as well. We have Chaos Terminators that just warped in. I almost missed that right there. I just noticed from the red aura that they put out right here, and just, oh no, down goes a whole squad of guardsmen right there. That is a nasty bit of melee. Just actually kind of combined arms. There's melee, there's Terminators for serious range, suppression of course in the back. A Mortar Strike goes down but kind of misses its target. Caeltos upgrading, now everybody's level 3 except for Bizzie and Venom. Manticore's moving in to do something here, it looks like. There goes the strike, where is it gonna be? It's up top, doesn't quite hit anything unfortunately. Grey Knight Dreadnought, luckily that's one of the best things about these triple stormtroopers is that, oh no! There goes the Interceptor squad. Way too ambitious with those unfortunately. But as I was saying, those 3 stormtroopers can heal up this Dreadnought very, very quickly. Brother Captain still charging ahead with the help of that Dreadnought. All that suppression isn't going to be able to do much against this kind of push. And are all those stormtroopers upgraded with plasma cannons? That is some serious range fire there. Unfortunately, right now it's all suppressed. And the red team is once again pushing the VPs 110 to 321. Blue team has pushed them off the field pretty decisively here with this focused push on top. Caeltos going to be able to res both of the heroes and get himself some nice XP. Oh my gosh, those stick bombs! Oh, they are just not friendly at all. Taking out a whole stormtrooper squad right there and injuring the other 2 squads pretty severely. And man, look at these Chaos Raptors upgraded with their maul. Look at that thing. That is just a nasty, nasty looking weapon. Oh dear, I don't want to mess with that. A lot of melee on the field for Annihilus Rex actually between the Heretics. Has some natural Chaos Space Marines with no mark on them at all. Oh, and that maul just doing terrible damage to those stormtroopers. So many go down even though they hit retreat as soon as they get through there. Melta's trying to finish one off but doesn't quite connect. Seeing the Unending Purge get upgraded on the Brother Captain as well. Trying to battle with that Plague Marine. Dreadnought upgraded with his claws, gonna go for the melee fight right here. That stomp exactly what he needed to knock back that Plague Champion and finish him off. And without his power claws, that is not a Corn Dreadnought. He's going to lose that battle. Oh my god, what the hell is going on up top? Everything, apparently. Stick bomb is going down on the artillery. A lot of focus fire going down, and a big old rocks on top of the Falcon. He needs to activate the shield right now. He does just in time. It takes two direct rock hits. And it's still standing with almost full HP. That's the beauty of that shield. Any other vehicle would have been annihilated right there. However, the mech boy's sitting there with his beamy def gun still firing in on it. He needs to heal it up or pull it back or take out the mech boy. Any of those things need to happen right now to keep that Falcon alive. It's taken fire. If Caeltos looks back and activates that shield, hopefully. Oh, but the mech boy gets intercepted by the Commissar Lord and saves that Falcon. Oh, and here comes a Fire Prism, however. It takes a Manticore shot, which also almost finishes off some Stick Bomb. Stick Bomb is trying to get away. So is the Fire Prism. It's almost down. Oh, wow. It just barely knocks back the War Spider before he deals the finishing blow. Oh, we just saw the brother Captain Dreadnought fall to the Razorback. Oh, and the Falcon gets sniped. Look at the long range on that Bright Lance that finished off that short-lived, unfortunate Fire Prism. You can see a second Rhino on the field, upgraded with a las cannon as well. Really going heavy on the AV, trying to make sure none of these late Tier 3 vehicles come in and ruin the game for the Blues. They're making a solid comeback right now, really turned the tides in these last couple engagements, but they're going to have to hold it really hard considering they've only got the 64 VPs to almost 200. And the red team's certainly not out of the fight at all. Bizzie's a bit behind right now. He's not been able to keep too much on the field. Lost 2 vehicles, one of his stormtrooper squads, and his interceptors, which are really his only heavily offensive squad right now. Oh my goodness, look at that warp throw from the Warlock. Oh, that's 2 dead squads. Almost definitely. Down they go almost instantly. Beautiful play there by Morrigan. Really showing off the Warlock so far. That Warlock's just been constantly causing trouble wherever he's at. Got some flash kits on the field for Iconoclast. Iconoclast just keeping that range, that long-ranged fire support going here. Oh, I don't even know what's happening anymore. There's just too much exploding on the screen right now. Looted tank out here. Meanwhile, Ogren's engaging some heretics in melee, but with the help of that Warlock, they're actually going to lose that fight. Altark drop right in the middle of Caeltos' whole force. I'm not sure he sees it, and it does heavy damage to the Guardians, along with the Stick Bomber barrage on that Falcon, and the looted tank moving in. That Razorback needs to take a few shots at that looted tank. There's really not too much AV on the field, so these 2 vehicles don't have that much to worry about. They could probably snipe that thing out if they focused on it. There's some stormtroopers with Meltas trying to get in range to get a nice Melta grenade off on that looted tank. They managed to do it, but it may cost them the squad. It looks like they just barely escaped. Down goes the Orc tank, but there's a second Fire Prism on the field, and this Siege Dreadnought's still out here causing trouble. Look at the paint job on that Fire Prism, though. Anyways, that's a really nice looking tank. I like it. I don't know. The Fire Prisms and the Falcons are just some of the coolest vehicles in this game. Mech Boy teleporting in with the beamy def gun. Fire support from the Fire Prism finishes off that Falcon with the energy shield, and that's just one of the most difficult vehicles to take out in this game. That shield regenerates so fast. However, an orbital strike obliterating the Mech Boy and a squad of Chaos Space Marines. That is no joke. Those orbital cannons are pretty weak in retail, but they do not mess around in the Elite mod. Once again, we can see just suppression and artillery pummeling this top point constantly neutralized. No one's really held that top point. The red team had a pretty strong hold in the early game, but after that, it's just been pretty much nothing but back and forth. Paladin's coming on the field for Bizzie, and it's a good thing because he's got literally nothing else. Getting a feel for Grey Knights still, I suppose. 47 to 148. And I don't know, the blue team can still hold this so long as Bizzie can get back in the game here, but otherwise it's pretty much 2-on-3 right now, so they're in a bit of trouble, especially since they have to be holding map. I'm not sure why those Ogrins fell back, I guess for the Manicore strike, but it cost him the time he needed to capture that point. And now here comes the melee pile, the Warlock, the Autark, and the Banshees themselves. There's just way too much long-range anti-vehicle on the field right now for them to even hope getting something in here. The Las Pred, the Fire Prism, and of course this Chaos Siege Dreadnought, which is now almost maxed out at level 4. Getting lots of kills. Bizzie's got his Paladins coming out here briefly, but I'm not sure the blue team has what it takes to hold this push. Here comes the red team. They're committing everything into this. Altark jumps in. Oh man, Guardian Weapons team annihilated as soon as those Raptors got in there. They're level 4 and completely upgraded. Just nasty, nasty melee damage. Wraith Guards fall. Singularity goes down, but it may be the end of that D-Cannon. Down it goes, and I think that's it for the blue team. Those Stormtroopers on another suicide mission. They may actually take out this Predator. Oh, but a Fire Prism quickly says no to that. Unfortunately for that Predator, we have an Eldritch Storm called down, and it is gone before it even knows what happened. Bizzie committed everything into that battle. Those Paladins just got ripped up. Those Raptors finally go down. Bizzie has nothing left but his brother captain once again. Venom finally heading into tier 3, but there's just too much on the field. Another stick bomber barrage going down on the Guardians. They hit the fleet of foot and dodge it. Good micro by Caeltos, but I just don't think it's going to matter at this point. VPs are changing hands to the Reds. The Reds have just devoted everything, as it kind of tends to happen, to this center VP lane here. And Bizzie just trying to buy anything he can to get out on the field and help the rest of his army. Caeltos bringing a Fire Prism out. Stick Bomb is actually going into melee at this point in the game. Look at these heroes too. Caeltos level 8. Warlock's already level 10. Commissar and Brother Captain sitting a bit low still. Terminators might be able to finish off the Ogren squads with the help of that Plague Champion, but he's just a bit too slow to make the cut. Oh no, and we have a Battle Wagon up top. That's just gonna tear right through everything that's up here. It's nothing but setup teams up here defending the point, and they send a Battle Wagon. Just a bit ridiculous. A little bit of overkill. Caeltos way back here harassing with this Warp Spider. I kind of wish I could have just watched Caeltos' Warp Spider throughout this game and see what he's getting into, because he's just been all over the place. Knocking over heroes, picking off models, doing all kinds of damage. Unfortunately for the blue team, Bizzie was trying out the Grey Knights, I think, for what was one of his first few games with them. Mechboy goes down, sniped by the focus blast of that Fire Prism. Actually does pretty nice damage when it does connect to heroes and single model entities. Oh no, and here comes the Battle Wagon. The points are ticking down. That's going to be it for the blue team, unfortunately. Big shot going off right in the middle of those Guardians. They hit retreat just in the nick of time. And everything's trying to focus down this Battle Wagon, but it just doesn't matter. Oh man, the blue team fought valiantly, but the Grey Knights just not quite up to snuff this game. And the red team pulls it out with 100 VPs. I thought blue team was going to bring it back there, but they lost that big engagement towards the end right here in the center. And there's just no returning. They lost too many squads. They kind of invested way too much in trying to hold that. They kind of needed to, but it just didn't work out for them in the long run. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. That was quite a game, to say the least. All kinds of top players and crazy shenanigans. Saw a new Grey Knights build. Unfortunately, in the late game, those Stormtroopers just didn't hold up. And the loss of those vehicles caused Bizzie dearly. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the game. Feel free to comment, subscribe, talk about the video. I always appreciate it. This is Red-Rupee. I'll be catching you guys next time.